Okay, so here I am to talk about the first, basically unreleased version. I guess this would be beta of INPOOT, the input wrapper for, I guess the best application is games, HTML5 games. So it's on GitHub, as you can see, and if you go to inpoot.com, it will forward you right to this page that has a lot of the information. You can link to GitHub. What we're going to take a look at is the demos and basically how this is used. So here's the demo page, which ships with actual information. And there's basically two things going on here. You can link to the interface, which is a part of the plugin, or you can just straight up use the functionality here. So it says that this demo is pre-configured to work with the arrow keys and WASD controls for player 1 and player 2. So the arrow keys, as you can see, allow me to move player 1. And if I switch over on my keyboard to the WASD keys, I can move player 2. Do them at the same time. So this is using the plugin's INPOOT API for actions. Basically, a simple way to abstract out inputs from basically any device. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a little more advanced. First, we're going to make sure, because what I'd like to do is use all of these types of mappings. Right now we're using the arrows and WASD. I'd like to use a PlayStation Xbox controller. First of all, I got to make sure that these controllers are set up. So I'm going to turn on my Xbox controller, and I'm going to hit some buttons to make sure that it loads. And I'm going to press buttons. It's not configured, so I'm going to click this to configure it. I'm only going to have to do this once, and in the future these configurations will download automatically from the internet based on your browser /os/gamepad configuration. So you would normally not have to do this ever, but it's here right now until everything's kind of standardized. So I'm still just mapping basically the inputs that the browser is giving me to the actual inputs on the controller. And while I'm at it, let's see if I can get the PlayStation to load. There we go. I have a wireless PlayStation controller. Same deal. I gotta load these. I'm in Chrome right now. Firefox is a little challenging. I feel like the best controller right now to use on Firefox is either the PlayStation 3 wireless through Bluetooth or the Xbox wired. I've had a lot of problems with Firefox on the wireless Xbox controller, so there's lots of bugs. And the performance seems to be best so far on Chrome. The recent Chrome has the Gamepad API. It just needs to be enabled in the flags, the About Flags section. So we have the 360 controller and PlayStation 3 controller configured again. In the future, these will just be downloaded immediately. You'll never really have to go to this screen. So the mappings are already there. They were pre-configured and shipped with this game. Now the players, so player 3 and player 4 can use Xbox or PlayStation, but let's set them up. You actually have to select which one. There's 4 slots, so we'll assign those. Let's refresh and clear the board. And then here's PlayStation. As you can see, you can tell that you get the nice 0 to 1 type of an input versus the keyboard, where it's very, very geometrical. It's either 0 or 1, whereas the gamepads is between 0 and 1 depending. That's very nice. And I'm going to go and grab the Xbox. And again, here's the Xbox controller. And a couple of the other inputs is grow and shrink, so I'm clicking left and right trigger as they're configured. So very fun. So there you go. We have inputs, 2 players on the keyboard, 1 player on the PlayStation 3 controller, 1 player on the Xbox controller. So let's take a look at another game. This is Myanmar's a game I'm working on right now. And I'm going to load it up here. And again, this game is configured to work with the INPOOT basically the INPOOT API. I'm going to reload it because there's a bug. WebGL doesn't load the first time, but we'll click it again and we'll get it to load. So I've wired up this button here to load the UI. And as we look, this game only allows one player, and right now it's configured to the keyboard mapping. So if I click off, I can play the game with the keyboard. That's great. You know, the interaction is fine with the keyboard. I'm using WASD to look around. Most people don't do that. And then the arrows to move, spacebar to jump. And you can do flips in this game. It's pretty fun. If I didn't want to use the keyboard, I could switch it up. I have an Xbox mapping set, and my Xbox controller, I'm going to press A on it to make sure it's hooked up, and grab it here, and now I can play the game with my Xbox controller. So now I have my Xbox controller in hand. As you can see, I can move slowly or fast because of the use of the axis, and it's way fun with the controller. And the frame rate's great right now. I'm well above 60 frames per second using this plugin on Chrome 19. And it's a lot of fun. It's very exciting to see these games. Basically, I'm playing a 3D game in the browser in Chrome using an Xbox wireless controller. I haven't done a PS3 controller for this game, but as you can see, it's very simple, and the plugin basically abstracts all types of inputs. The code inside the game never changes, and super great. So hope you enjoy, and I look forward to a lot of feedback and a lot of bug fixing. All right, thanks.